All ages, welcome to the GazzyB123 podcast. My name is Gary Blackwood, aka GazzyB123. I am joined this evening by none other than German mid-stakes / high-stakes pro, Julian. Welcome to the stream, Julian.
I know it's hard. I know it's hard in English, and whenever I'm on the phone, and I have to pronounce it. People can't say it in English.
I can't fucking say it. You told me about 4 times how to say it, but I can't say it. How do you say your last name, Julian?
Schultheis. Just like Schult, and then we have an ice by the end.
Can we call you Schwarzenegger? Julian Schwarzenegger, is that possible?
People were struggling with Schwarzenegger, so I guess I have to make it somewhere to the top that people will not be struggling to say my name right. So yeah, there's a long way to go.
Julian Schwarzenegger, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing? You doing good?
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm doing very well. Fantastic. How are you?
Fantastic. Excellent. I'm doing okay, buddy. I'm doing okay. For those that are wondering, I am going straight out Friday night after the stream, so I have a pint of vodka cranberry, I have a tin of Thatcher's Gold. This is not...
Look.
Oh, wow. We have a pint of beer. Cheers. Slans, my friend.
It's appleberry juice. Apple juice.
People are not on the Joey Ingram podcast anymore with Dan Cates and his herbal tea and Joey Ingram with his muscles. It's GazzyB with a pint of vodka cranberry and some German beer by the looks of things. Right, let's get into the podcast. We're going to start off with our standard procedure. 10 quick-fire get-to-know-you questions. Are you ready for them?
I was born ready.
Now, you know Bertie Bailey, right? Big Steeler.
Bertie biceps, yeah. No Bertie biceps.
Bertie biceps.
The man with the biggest biceps, yeah.
Brilliant podcast guest, absolutely fantastic. Did not understand the quick-fire question round. Every answer was about 10 minutes long, and that's not what we're looking for. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, age?
33.
33? I thought you were 31. Location?
London.
The main poker site that you play on?
It's still PokerStars.
Your favourite poker site to play on?
It's still PokerStars.
Any other screen names other than JVL Star that you can tell us, or are they top secret?
No. We have Last Whisper on 88. We have Still Rank 1 on Party Poker. We have... What else do we have? We have the Night King on WPN.
The Night King made a really ridiculous fold against me the other day. And he was right, but it still hurt to see it. Anyway... How many years have you been a professional poker player for?
Oh, God. Too long. 13.
13 years. Damn, we'll get into that a little later on. Vaccinated?
Yes, and recovered. I fucking got the poison. Yeah.
You got the you had the poison?
I had the poison, yeah.
Oh,
I went to a club with a friend and, yeah. Got it in a club, but it was worth it for sure. I'll do it again. I'll be food again.
Poker idol. Who is your poker idol?
Who's my poker idol? God, Daniel Negreanu. No, I think when I was younger, it was definitely Phil Ivey.
I was about to hang up the fucking phone there if you said it was Daniel Negreanu. Okay, your best friend in poker.
My best friend in poker. It's still Stefan. dccnesquick.
Still Stefan. We're gonna talk about our friend dccnesquick in due course. And last question: your favorite pastime away from the tables? Don't say League of Legends. Don't say Minecraft. Give us something really cool you like to do.
Something really cool I like to do. I like to go for dinners and drinks. Yeah.
Yeah, socializing. Social guy. Yeah.
Socializing. Yeah. I'm trying. I mean, you have to, right? Sitting in front of the computer all day, going crazy. Yeah, I like to meet people and like. Back in the days, it was obviously clubbing, like the thing you're going to do later on, but you're fucking 30, right? 31.
I'm 32, buddy.
32. What does it say in the description? My name is Gary, I'm 30 years old. I was 30 years old.
I was 30 years old back in the day.
I was 30 years old. No, I like to go for drinks, socialize, have good dinners, and then maybe go to a bar, like a loud bar. Maybe sometimes a club. That's what I like for sure.
Clubbing days behind you, or still sometimes from time to time?
Sorry?
Clubbing days, are they behind you? Are you too old for the clubbing now?
No. I'm still going to. I still like it here and there. It used to be like 2 or 3 times a week, But nowadays, let's call it every 6 to 8 weeks. You will see me in a club, and then like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm the oldest guy. All the girls are 20 years old. I'm completely wrong. I always think I'm like the older brother of someone picking someone up or something. It's
Maybe by the end of your beer, you can show some of your dance moves that you do in the club.
I'm just recovering from a meniscus surgery, so I'm sitting here.
Oh shit! A little bit sore, a little bit tender.
Yeah, I mean, I can bend my knee again, so it's going the right way. But when you're 33, these are things you have to deal with, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember we were out for brunch one day and you told me, I was 29 at the time, you told me as soon as I turn 30, my life will change. I will be much more considerate about all these things and I'll take better care of myself and stuff like that. It hasn't happened yet, but I think when I'm 35, I will take your advice on board.
Yeah, maybe you have to spend more time with me, and then like the good influence is swapping over. It's like you become what you surround yourself with, right? So
very true, very true. Right, let's get some questions from the chat super quick before we start the podcast. Shout out to J Villain, which is JVL Star. Just realised that. Dino Dean's in the mix. Welcome, brother. Hopefully you're doing well. Shout out to WelshGaz16, who says Welsh Gaz is surely your poker idol. Very good, Welsh Gaz. Shout out to Magaboyfin, aka Marcus, aka NBoss Crusher. Welcome, buds. Magaboyfin, when you coming on the podcast, slide into those DMs. Don't Show Please says Julian Champ. You know who I am? Do you know who Don't Show Please is?
Don't Show Please. No.
Oh, you're big time in Don't Show Please. You're pretending like you don't know who he is.
There's so many fans around the world. Don't Show Please. No, I don't know. Who is it?
Tag says, what's wrong with Minecraft or League of Legends? Absolutely nothing, buddy. Just looking for something a little better than computer games for a favourite pastime. Before we get into the actual podcast, B. D. Alson says, ask him if he thinks poker is dead. Do you think poker is dead?
No. I think the opposite is true, right? Especially with crypto on the rise, and Americans somehow crawling their way back on ACR towards the European pools. I think the games have been pretty good, and GG is doing a great job to push that thing. And I think overall the rise of crypto just like makes the games quite juicy again. Obviously, you have to be working, you have to be improving.
Yeah.
Regularly, it's not coming from nothing. But for me, like for the last 4 or 5 years, like every year was better and better and better. So
okay, how did you? Sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead. The floor is yours.
I said, if I can do it, you can do it as well, right? I'm not a magician. I'm not very special. I'm
just hard work. Just a regular guy who works hard.
I'm continuously working. Like it's not like I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying setting pile sims or node logging or looking into my opponents, but it's a necessity to get where I want to get, right?
That's very true, and we will talk a lot about that in due course. A couple of quick questions from the chat before we get into the actual podcast side of things. How did you tear your meniscus? And shout out to Riera, who has also done that in the past.
I've done it. Like I already had like a minor fracture a couple of years ago. It was basically from playing football in the past when I was young, when I was 16, 17, 18. I played like every day, like 6 days a week. And I took like a back injury, I took a knee injury, and now when you're getting older, like these things are coming up. And I was in the gym. And I did some squats, and then I had a loud crack, and then it was done, and I had to get surgery.
That's nasty, my friend. Hopefully you're recovering well.
Shit happens.
What is the origin of JVL Star 69? How did you come up with that? And do you regret it?
Yes, I would say I regret it. It's me making like my PokerStars account when I was like 18 years old, right? And all like capitals. Like peacocking and obviously star. In my head, I was a star when I was 18, or like to the age of 28. I thought I was a star for sure. In 69, I can give you a hint. It was not a Summer of 69 by Brian Adams. Let's put it this way.
Okay, great. I think we've peaked in the podcast side of things. My boyfriend says, still addicted to meditation. Is that a little inside joke between you guys, or are you a big meditator?
I used to be 4 years ago. I was doing meditation every day, but unfortunately, I got out of the habit. I have to say, like I'm still doing it with a group meditation. Like a friend of mine is hosting it, but on a regular basis, I have to give it a no and say I'm slacking in this part.
Me too, buddy. Me too. But maybe together we can get back to meditation greatness.
You'll meditate tonight in the club, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You'll find your inner peace there.
Well, I'll be in the corner with my eyes closed. That's for damn sure. Okay, let's talk a little poker. Background. What was the first time?
Maybe one thing, right? Why we're here? We're not here to praise myself. I'm not here to see my face in the camera. We're here for a good cause. We're here for a greater cause.
Absolutely, we are.
So I can see it as well. Right? On the bottom right, you can see the donation button, right?
Okay, let me interject there for 1 second. So if you guys, for those that are watching, if you scroll down next to the Upswing Poker and the picture of Norman Chad, there's a donation option. Our friend here, Julian, has been very kind to offer to top up any donations that we receive on tonight's podcast to the tune of $1,000, which is absolutely wonderful. We're raising money for a fantastic cause, the Red Cross in Ukraine. Absolutely fantastic stuff, Julian. Topping up to $1,000. What a guy you are.
Yeah, of course. I hope. I mean, maybe we pass the 1,000. I'm looking at you, Makeboy Finn. I'm looking at Frank in the background. I'm looking at Linus sitting somewhere in the chat. I'm looking at the other guys. Please do a donation. Like, please leave something. It would be nice to raise something for a good cause, right?
Absolutely.
And, yeah, if we only get to like 300 fun, I'll top it up to 1,000. If we top the 1,000, I'll top it up to 2,000. And one more thing: the highest donor gets an hour of free coaching.
Wow, that's absolutely fantastic. So anyone out there who wants an hour of free coaching with this absolute crusher end boss,
I guess Marcus needs it, right? Marcus needs a little bit of coaching.
Yeah,
so.
But I also heard a rumor he's busto and he can't afford to donate. Is that true? Or
yeah, maybe. I heard he's only playing 500 PLO because the other stakes are too high. So anything helps, Marcus. It doesn't matter. Anything helps, and I'll top the rest up. Don't worry.
I heard he's got a very big problem with money right now. Just kidding. Shout out to Michael Boyfin for joining us. Right, let's talk a little poker. So the first time you laid eyes on a poker table, was it love at first sight? Do you remember it? How did you get into poker?
It was like we actually had a day off school the other day, and then there was like the American poker things were televised on German TV, and then we drove to the gas station and bought like a crate of beer, and then someone had a poker set, and then we just started playing poker. We printed out like the Wikipedia rankings, and nobody had an idea what was going on, obviously. But it turned into like a regular round. And afterwards, we were playing twice a week for like 5 to 10 euros or something like that for like 2 years. And I was constantly winning. I think I barely had a losing day. And then I started playing online. Deposited like some of the winnings that I made in this live local round. Mm-hmm. But it was back and forth. I was doubling it up, cashing half of it out, and then like trying to gamble it up, cashing half of it out, and then back and forth until I really started putting some effort into strategy. I remember being a member of Poker Strategy. They had free content, and I then started the Supernova Elite grind, and I think it was 2010. I almost went busto. I almost went busto in 2010. I made like 10,000. I had 10,000 to my name, and like my parents called me, and they were asking me if I'm studying for the uni exams, and I said, by the way, I'm not studying anymore. I'm a professional poker player. And my mom passed the phone to my dad and refused to speak to me for half a year. And my dad said, "Oh, you're a poker player traveling the world. Have fun, right?" And I went from 10,000 to 1,000 quite quickly, and I almost went busto. And then I went to the US, and I restarted playing in like an Indian bingo and casino. I drove there every night with like a 20-year-old Nissan and stuff. And I recovered. I won like 5K in a couple of weeks, and then came back home. Started playing NL25 and took like the strategy and bankroll management seriously. Yeah. And didn't try Supernova Elite anymore, which was quite helpful.
That certainly helps. Yeah. Do you think if you'd gone busto, you said you had like 1K to your name, you were driving. If you went busto, do you think you'd still be a professional poker player, or would you be doing something else right now?
Yeah, I guess if I went busto, I guess I would be doing something else. But luckily, I turned things around, and things have turned out for the better.
I have a day like that. It's not my podcast. I'm not going to talk about it, but there was one day in my life where if it went a little bit differently, I would be working in a fucking shoe shop right now. That's for damn sure. So pretty awesome stuff.
Nothing wrong with that. If you're passionate about it, if you're doing a good job, if you're happy at the end of the day.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. But it was 8 years ago, and let's just say I'm very happy that I didn't go bust that day. So how long were you a fish before going pro? Were you a recreational player for a little while, trying to become pro, or was it pretty quick for you?
It was pretty quickly, actually, of like me making money, obviously playing too high and playing too high of a volume, but I wasn't a fish for too long, honestly. Yeah. To be fair. But I also wasn't really good for a very long time in my career. So the first, let's call it 8 or 9 years, it was definitely average for sure. Just like low win rate, bum hunting, full ring, and stuff like that. Don't really care too much. Just getting around. Maybe have a little bit of savings per year, but not much. Mm-hmm. So like, because people think I'm a high stakes pro for 13 years, that's definitely not true. I was playing mid stakes for a very long time, and I wasn't doing too well. I would say I wasn't doing too great over the first 8-9 years.
Yeah. I think that's the same for a lot of people. I think the solver era certainly helped a lot of people out. So what sort of stakes were you playing when you made the transition to full-time poker? Were you 25 NL, 50 NL, 100 NL?
I think it was like 100 NL, and you could make a lot of money back in the days for 100 NL full-ring. You probably could already make like 10K a month in full rake back at like 100 NL, like 100 by a month were quite normal. And then for the most part, I played like 200 to 1K, mostly full-ring. Obviously, I took my shots at 6 max, but it felt like a UFC match. I wasn't sure what was going on. I was like very, very aggressive compared to the full-ring tables.
Yeah.
And but started at like 100. Like at first I started in a 10, like at 110 and grinded it up.
Julian, buddy, sorry to interrupt. Just so you know, every time you lean back a little bit, your mic gets a little choppy. So if you can find a way to lift your mic up a little bit, that would be beautiful. I have 2 books under my microphone. One, the 80-20 rule that I'll never read, and the other one is Adrian Mole. So yeah, if you can get your microphone just a little higher, that would be beautiful. Yeah, just something underneath it, just to help you out a little bit there.
Maybe beautiful. That's better now.
Oh, that's 10 times better. Thank you very much. Shout out to Backdoor4 who says, Gaz, send one to every guest. You're absolutely right. Every guest on the Gaz podcast gets a Blue Yeti microphone. Let's talk a little bit about that time where you went for Supernova Elite, tried and failed. Did you ever try again? Did you get close again?
I think I tried the next year and I failed again. I had like an 830 long break-even stretch. So I think the highest I've got back in the days was up to like 600K VPPs, which was like 50,000 rake back or something like that back in the days.
Yeah.
And it was in 2011 actually, and it was like until a long time it was my best year, like 150K or something. It was for a long time. It was my best year, yeah, for sure. But no, I made it to Supernova Elite, and up to date I still notice like when I play high volume or when I try to play like 500 Zoom. I know you declared me or announced me as the best 500 Zoom rake in the world. I'm struggling. If it's too fast, I'm really struggling. I need low hands per hour to make decent decisions for sure.
Wow, okay, that's pretty interesting. A couple of shout outs in the chat. What were you supposed to be studying in college before you dropped out to play poker?
So I dropped out, but I went back actually. So I dropped out, I went to the US, I came back, I was playing, and like because my parents were pushing me, and then one of my best friends, he called me and said, yeah, he's going to the uni in our hometown, he's going back, and he asked me if I wanted to join, and I said, sure, and he said he's going to help me through. So yeah, at the end of the day, I can say it now. It was like probably of the 36 exams, I wrote 6 by myself and 30 was just copy paste for me. So I was kind of like making my way through uni. Like let's say from an intelligence standpoint, I could have done it, but I wasn't really interested. I was just playing poker, and whenever my friend needed me in a lecture or like some preparation, I went with him. And I graduated in 2015. National Business Administration, and since then I immediately came to London to play full-time.
Wow, excellent. Just a quick question from the chat, guys. How are the audio levels for both myself and my guest? If there are any audio issues, please do let us know. We'll get them fixed as quickly as possible. Okay, so we spoke about your Supernova Elite push. Any regrets going for Supernova Elite? Would you do it differently if you look back at that time?
Yeah, I'm young. Like there's no like certain career path in poker, especially back in this days. Right, you just like did what you thought was the best thing or the highest EV thing, and like 100,000 per year flat, and not winning at the tables or breaking at the tables was a lot of money back in the day. Yeah. It's still, 100,000 is still a lot of money. But if I would have looked back, I probably wouldn't have done it tried it like 2 or 3 times, because if you fail for the first time and you just like can't push through, it's a tough grind, right? It's a really, really tough grind.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of hours and a lot of brain cells going to mush in this grind, and you're actually not really becoming good when you're playing that much, because you actually want to make progress. You have to take your time and really study and like look for weaknesses, or like look for leaks in your strategy, or look for leaks in your opponent's strategy. Like you can't do this while playing 24 tables or while playing 16 tables of whatever. It's just not possible. You won't reach the top by mass grinding.
Shout out to whoever in the chat just told me that the title needed updating, because JVL Star is not Trevor Savage. They are 2 completely different people. Shout out to Zinhao, if that is the true Zinhao, welcome, buddy. If it's not, then still welcome. Talking about your heavy rig back grind, putting the hours in, etc. I think around about 2015, 2016, the solver era started to come in. Pile solver, GTO wizard, etc. Me personally, I resisted using solvers, and it cost me a lot of money, a lot of EV. Were you the same? Were you like straight in there? Were you PIO every day, or did you kind of resist a little bit first?
I wanted to learn it, but I was obviously lazy. I was living together with Stevie. I don't know if you know SMB.
Oh, he's a fan favorite in here. Everyone knows Stevie Mantic, of course. Shout out SMB wherever you are in the world.
The lazy shit, I have to say, in retrospect. No, it's obviously like a great poker mind. He was always ahead of his time. And I said to him, like, this OTB guy, he's starting with a solver and he's crushing everyone. Why don't we start learning this fucking solver thing? And he was like, nah, Julian, I can't be asked. And, yeah, so I didn't take a look into solvers for like, I don't know, 1 or 2 more years. Let's call it like that, maybe 2017.
Yeah.
I was starting to use PIO solver, but also not really using it. I wasn't really studying with it. I had it installed, and then sometimes I had a look at something, and sometimes I didn't. And that was like the transitioning phase, let's call it that. But if Stephen Bentic back in this day would have said, Julian, we're gonna learn fucking PIO solver, I would be sitting here on a pile of cash.
You would be in the chat being Michael Boyfin, and Michael Boyfin would be in the interview, right?
Yeah, that's true. I would be sitting there drinking beers, eating Milky Way, and having a good time. So I still have to work.
What an excellent Stevie Bantic impersonation that was, by the way. Quick question for you. When I started using the solver, I was so inefficient. I mean, I like to think I'm a lot better these days, but I was doing it so badly. Do you have any advice for someone who is starting to use the solver and is starting to get into these things in terms of their own efficiency?
Yeah, so what I did back in the day was basically just learning these solve like vocabularies, more or less. So I was just looking through a spot, and I tried to memorize it, and then when I got to the spot again, I looked at it again and again and again. It's like a stupid way of doing it, but it's one way to do it. It's one way to get like the basics right. Probably one recommendation: don't put in too many sizes on every street. Don't try to imitate like a three sizing split on like the flop already, right? That's way too much. That's only what like a non-human being can do. Keep the strategy simple, especially at the lower levels. Like, don't confuse yourself. Play a very simple strategy, but play it well. Like, the game is complex enough and it has so many different facets. Really keep it simple for the very beginning. Start to understand how the solver works. Look for heuristics. Look for things that are like coming that you see over and over again. And get a good understanding of that. Get somebody in the same situation as you, like have a study partner, have someone who you're working with, because making this way up by yourself is quite a tough task. I remember, or I know, Linus basically made it by himself, and Marcus is kind of a guy who is also doing a lot of solo studies, but from all the other guys I know, they were all basically benefiters of like having a strong crew, or having people around them, or having people on the same path, right? And me including, like, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Steve, if it wasn't for Frank, if it wasn't for Donald, and it wasn't for Stefan. I definitely wouldn't be here. Like, I wouldn't have done it by myself, for sure not.
That's really touching, and I just want to give a quick shout out to Martin C in the chat, who I am the exact same. If it wasn't for Cam, Ben, Smith, Jason, Martin, all those guys, I wouldn't be here today, because study groups are, even if you're not studying, you're just like talking hands and little piece of advice within the solver and stuff like that. So for those of us that are just getting into solvers and just, trying to improve our games, etc., get yourself a study group, some guys that play the same sort of games as you, and bounce ideas off of each other. I think that's absolutely fantastic advice. Let's see what else we've got here. This is a pretty interesting question I asked this to all my guests. Do you think it's still possible to move up to low stakes, mid stakes without using a solver in this day and age, or do you think it's a necessity?
Probably a necessity in a sense, because you just have to learn the basics. Like, without a solver, like, everything is a bit chaotic, and you have like a lot of assumptions, and you don't know why you're doing things. So I think first it's like get a good foundation with the solver, like try to figure out why the solver is doing it. When you figured out the why, then you can and when you've gained a lot of experience, then you can start like deviating, or then you can start node locking, or doing something like off the solver, or then you can look at population tendencies, for example, stuff like that. But I think when you really want to go up the stakes, the strategy is still like very, very solver based.
Okay. What about Stefan, High Stakes Reg? A lot of people tell me that he plays nothing like a solver. Are there many players that play like that, or is everyone playing relatively similarly?
Well, there's like different category of players, right? Like when you play against a guy like him, or when you play against a guy like Linus, they will put you to the test, right? Like Stefan, even more so. I think he's way more exploitable. He's way more going into the player he's playing against, whereas Linus is playing more like a server-based strategy. But they will both put you into the test, right? They're like really uncomfortable to play with, and they're really punishing your weaknesses. Whereas you have players like who is it, like Top Cat, for example, or a guy like Ospiel, who both have like insane win rates and are crushing the games for years now. But it feels like when you play against these guys, you might not even notice that they're really at the table, but they're like slowly grinding money out of you. But yeah, against a guy like Stefan Momotu, he will just like beat the living shit out of you. I don't know, there's this guy, this Eurosov guy is playing him at 5k Zoom heads up. And like 1 hour later, I'm looking into the Zoom pool, and then all of a sudden, Stefan has like a 1,200 BB stack, and I'm like, why are you doing this to you? Right? Why playing this guy? Do you really think you have an edge against him? Like,
probably just crypto money and a little bit bored, to be honest. So Michael Boyfriend says, Michael Boyfriend, aka Marcus in the chat, High Six Reg says, Stefan doesn't play like a solver, but he definitely grinded the solver. I think everyone who plays High Six has absolutely grinded the solver for sure.
Yeah, I think everyone has grinded the solver, and then when you only like, this is good, especially when you're playing against bigger pools, right? Because you can't go too deep into your opponents because you don't have any hands on them.
Yeah.
But then if you play higher stakes and you play against the same people every day, it's definitely worth having a look into your database and look what they're doing and look where they're leaking or where they have flaws in their strategy. And then obviously at some point you can start node logging, but you can't start with node logging and then try to figure out how this all works.
Yes,
first you have to learn.
You have to start.
First you have to learn. You if you build a house, right, you build the basement first, and then you build up the
that's
top level.
That's exactly it. Yeah, a lot of people, they talk about deviating, but it kind of feels like they don't know what they're deviating from.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they're just covering themselves. Let's talk a little bit about you. What sort of stakes are you playing these days?
I'm playing mostly 1K to 5K. And basically nothing lower. The occasional 10k games if it's running, if there's a good game. But yeah, compared to like 2 years or 3 years ago, I'm way better at table selecting. I basically stopped rec battling and focused more on playing against fish. Like lately, we've been putting in a lot of effort into playing against fish and max exploit the fish. As opposed to like I used to do a lot of rec battling on stars. I mean, maybe like 2 years ago it was worth it for sure because there was a lot of fish joining. But now it seems like what's the point? At like 9 in the morning, the same 3 guys are playing every morning, and it's like hours until the fish joins. And like in the end, the money is coming from the fish, right?
That's exactly yeah.
I mean, if you are like the top guy like Marcus or like Stefan or like Linus, obviously you can take one opponent, you can take 2 opponents, and you beat the living shit out of them. But these guys are very special, and it's like very unique, and like it's not for everyone, right? Like for a guy like me, like I know my limits, I know my limitation. These guys are younger, they're smarter, they work harder. So like I can't beat. I mean, I can probably beat these games, but it would be a lot of effort. So for me, like my sweet spot is like 1K, 2K, 2.5K, 3K, and then if it's 5K, I'm feeling more and more comfortable as opposed to like 1 or 2 years ago for sure.
For sure. So let's talk a little bit about your longer term aspirations. Do you have any? I mean, these 40k NL games on GG. Do you think do you aspire to get into these games, or are you happy with your 1K to 5K?
I'm like, at the moment, I'm like really happy because it's kind of smooth, right? The swings they're okay. Like I used to have like 100k swings like multiple times per year, and it's like really it's frustrating. It takes a lot of energy, and I notice I'm getting older as well, right? It's 13 years down the line after all, and I have to really like manage my resources. So for the minute, I really enjoy playing my limits. I'm still like it sounds like I'm like in a comfort zone, or like I'm doing this and I'm not improving, but like I'm still improving. I still see like that I'm getting better and better every day, and that I'm better than my opponents. So I keep on going. But yeah, at the minute, no aspirations to play these higher stakes games on GG. It's hard to play from the UK. It's hard to deposit anyways. They have these responsible gaming laws, and then I used to play there, and then when you dropped another 5 or 10k, it was like Sean from the responsible gaming team. Hi, it's Sean from the responsible gaming team. Yeah, Julian, I know. Yeah, you're a professional, and I'm just doing my job and just like checking. You've lost another $5,000. Are you okay with playing your current stakes, or do you maybe need to take a break? And I was like, yes, Sean, I'm fine. And after time Sean was calling me, it's like, no, see you later. And I told Sean, I mean, I got it kind of because now depositing, it's kind of hard, but moving at some point this year to the Netherlands, so from there on it will be easier to be playing GG. But I'm not really looking forward to play 10k, 20k, 40k, and I had to sell, and I don't like having the pressure of the money of my friends on my shoulder. In that sense, I'd rather play these games by myself, even if I'm underrolled and lose it, than like having like a big chunk sold to my friends and then the pressure and then making mistakes and then having to justify that. I know that people don't care about the money that they're losing when they're buying pieces, but it feels so bad. And
absolutely, for sure.
The pressure is too high. But yeah, for sure, like I'm seeing how 5k goes this year, and like obviously you have to have something to work towards. So if you're just like grinding in the comfort zone day in, day out, year in, year out, you're probably getting bored of it. So I'm sure there will be some kind of like 5k, 10k, but I wouldn't say 40k per se.
What about these 2k, 4k PLO games on Coin Poker? Any interest in getting into those games? Or is McAvoy is he the one that's going to be running those streets very soon?
Yeah, maybe Marcus is giving me a quick coaching. He said he bet buried today at PLO. So maybe if he's giving me a quick introduction, I might just hop in. I'll just take my treasure out here, just put it all into Coinbase, get scanned. And join you at the shoe store.
Have you seen those games? Do you think they're legit? Do you think those stakes are true? Or do you think maybe there's a little bit of advertising going on?
There could be some kind of advertising going on, but it's also the case that a lot of poker players got, especially like the guys who went to Macau, they got into Bitcoin and stuff like extremely early. So it might be just, for some people, it might be actual peanuts, right? It looks a lot to us like $8 million pots and stuff, but it might be just peanuts, especially for like some younger guys who got into crypto like at an extremely early stage. So could be real. I don't know. I haven't really followed. I saw some screenshots and I was like, sure. Sure, the guy had, what it was like ace queen 10 and the guy stacked off ace queen against king jack. Sure, 8 million here.
8 million. All get changed for these guys. Let's talk about some result stuff now. What's your biggest winning day as a cash grinder?
My biggest winning day, I had a couple of 40k winning days, 35k, 40k winning days, obviously with action sold. So I think for me personally, something around the 25k, 30k mark were my biggest winning days, and then my biggest losing days. Yeah, same. I had a couple of minus 40k days. There was one funny story. I was playing against Le Mouse, or how do you say Le Mouse? Le Mouse. Are you still there?
I'm still here, yeah. I have no idea who Le Mouse is.
Le Mouse?
Le Mouse, yes, yeah. I know you.
Le Mouse.
Le Mouse.
Tu parles français. Yeah, Le Mouse, whatever. I was playing like 3 tables of 10k against him, and Stefan had like friends over from Amsterdam, and they were sitting, like we were in a very small flat, and they were sitting there smoking grams and grams of weed and playing Fortnite and screaming around, and I was sitting there playing 40k, and I got decimated. I was like 45k, and then the guys were like, they came around and, oh, Boogie, how's it going? I said, it's not going great, and then I was like, how's it going now? I said, worse. And then I turned off the computer after 8 hours, and I said, so how much have you won? And I said, I haven't won. And then, how much did you lose? And I said, 40,000. You're kidding. And I showed them the Hold'em manager, and then you should have seen like these guys. They're all like baked out of their face, and they're like, oh shit. How are you feeling? I said, probably I felt a bit better yesterday, but I guess tomorrow will be better again. So
you kind of ruined their buzz there, man. You could have saved the graph for the next day and let them stay high, you know?
Don't worry, they were back on the smoke and on the Fortnite a couple of seconds later. Don't worry about it. They were okay. I had to deal with the shit. I had to deal with the emotional disaster. So
it's poker can be a very lonely day sometimes. So we spoke a little bit about this before we started the call. I'm going to ask you a question now and talk about it as much as you want to, as little as you want to. Any big MTT scores for you?
I was a continuous losing player for like 10 years. So I think on average I lost like 10 to 15k every year for 10 years. And then I played like a 10k turbo tournament, but I only had a small piece of myself. And I won 1.3 million, but obviously I had to give the majority away of it. But it was still like a nice 150k winning day. It was like a funny side story. Stefan wanted to play the same tournament as well, but he was already drunk and had to go for dinner with his girlfriend. And he said, can you give me at least 1% of this tournament? Sure, I gave him a person as well. And then, yeah, I had a really extremely small piece because I usually don't play tournaments and I would never pay 10k without like doing any strategy. It was a turbo tournament as well. And I came, I think, third or fourth for like 1.2 million. And then I had all this money in the account. I was happy when it was gone. But still like 100k. 100k, they obviously 1.2 would be nice as well, million, but
Just
could have.
Just to repeat, 1.3 million for a 10k tournament in third place. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. But the downside, small piece of yourself, which kind of sucks.
It's whatever. Like, I would have never played it if I had to pay the entire 10k.
Yeah.
So I just like played it with a small piece and just for the lols, and then yeah.
10k for the lols, what a life! What was I going to say? So you came third. You were telling me about you kind of took like a bit of a bad beat.
I lost ace king to ace 10 for the entire chip lead. I also got flipped twice by this John Duffy guy, like the tournament director.
Yeah, I know John.
I got flipped twice or bad beat twice, or like 60-40 by him twice. Otherwise, I definitely would have won. Like, still, I was the best player in the tournament for sure. So, like at the final table, but yeah, these things happens. But since then, I've played 1 or 2 tournaments actually, or maybe 3 or something like that. Not really.
What was up top in this tournament that you got 1.3 million in?
How much would it have been? Maybe like 2.4, 2.5, like this French sniper guy, like a guy from France or somebody.
Yeah.
Binked it. Yeah, 2.4 million.
Be honest. Immediately after the tournament, the next day, are you fucking delighted you won 1.3 million? Or fucking furious you didn't win 2.4 million? Which one was it? Because I would be the second one. I would be like, fuck this.
I was happy to have like 120k winnings, right? Because I mean, you can't play 10k, sell a lot, or only have a small piece of yourself, and then win big, and then I should have taken the entire piece. I should have done this. I should have played the lottery. If I would have known the 6 numbers, right? This is the way to approach it. You have to go in there with like, I think, a professional mindset, because if you go in there and think about what could have happened, I mean, so many things could have happened, right? So I was just really, really happy to have like a quick 100k before Christmas.
Absolutely.
Could buy some presents, so not too bad.
Let's ask the chat. Chat, you've just come third in a tournament, a 10k tournament. You've won $1.3 million. First place was 2.4 million. If you're happy with 1.3, type the number 1 in the chat. If you're a little bit disappointed you didn't win the 2.4, type the number 2 in the chat. I'm curious to see the answers. Whilst we're waiting for the answers, just a quick reminder, if you scroll down, you'll see a donations button. My boy Julian here is very kindly donating any money that we're aiming for $1,000 to donate to the Red Cross in Ukraine. If we don't quite make it, Julian has very kindly offered to top us up to 2k. If we do make that 1k target, Julian has very kindly offered to top it up to 2k. So very nice stuff indeed, as we get a couple of number 1s. And Kag says, look at the price of Ethereum 2 years ago if you want to be tilted. I was going to ask you this at the end, but quick question. Are you a crypto kind of guy?
Yeah, sure. I have some crypto. I watched the podcast with Birdie, and he was really upset that he bought Ethereum at 75 and his friend bought it at 13. I can tell you, I bought Ethereum and Bitcoin at a way higher price, but still made a decent profit on it. And I think the prospect of Bitcoin for the future, which you can see now with the war as well, and like hyperinflation and like banks collapsing and stuff like that, and people actually raising money in cryptos for Ukraine and stuff like that. I think the potential is there, and it's getting acknowledged worldwide more and more. So there's I think there's a big upside for Bitcoin for sure. It's still not too late. Obviously, it would have been better to buy it at $1 or to buy it at $5,000 than to buy it at $40,000. But still, think if you have like an investment portfolio and you're investing in, I don't know, into stocks, real estate, and whatever, you should definitely have some exposure to Bitcoin.
Absolutely. Wise words. Let's talk NFTs. Now, I'm 32 years old. You're 33 years old. I'm of the opinion that NFTs are just Zoomer nonsense. They're for the kids, and they'll never last. What do you think? Agree or disagree?
Can you say that? I was just reading the touch. Can you say it again?
NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Are they hot or not? What is your opinion on NFTs?
I guess similar thing, right, to crypto. It's like the new thing. It's a new form of art. It's the new brag. If you have something like this, I was watching actually. a podcast, like a crypto podcast, and they had this Vala Bulis. You remember this Bob guy from Vegas that used to be like a big sports gambler, and it was in high stakes poker as well, the Greek guy?
Oh, Habib Vologaris.
Rara Bulis, something.
Yeah.
I was watching a podcast with him, and it was quite interesting because he said, like our generation, like a Porsche or a Ferrari or like a Rolex is a flex, but he said flex for the generation coming after us, like the people who are like 15, 16, their flex won't be a Rolex, their flex will be an NFT, right?
Yeah.
Or something that they can show off on the internet to like a wide audience, to a big audience, or like to show off in the metaverse, right? If there's like a superficial online world, if they can walk around with the one NFT, with the one hoodie or whatever, that's only there for like as a unique thing, then this could have like a big value in the future. So yeah, I guess also if you're into that kind of stuff, probably worth spending some time with it. But it seems like that everything is going more digital, everything is going more online, less offline, which is obviously bothering me as a human being, as of part of like being the old generation. It's a bit sad, obviously, but it is just what it is. Right? It's just an evolution. Like if you told someone 100 years ago that people are flying to Mars and that you use a smartphone, they would have said, "Oh God, kill me before that shit happens."
So JVL Star is in favor of buying pictures of monkeys for $10,000 on the internet. You guys heard it here first.
I don't have any NFTs. I didn't really spend much time or did some research on how this stuff works, etc., etc. So no, I don't have NFTs. But if you're out there and you're thinking about it, and you want to make some money or you're interested in it, definitely give it a go for sure.
You, my boy Smith, Smith Trivedi, he is very familiar with NFTs. He knows all about NFTs. He tried to tell me about it one day. It was very overwhelming. I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I met him actually for breakfast the other day.
Oh, you did?
And I met him for breakfast like 3 weeks ago with Ben and Cameron. And shout out to Smith, legend. And I don't know, a couple of years ago, I offered him to give him coaching. And then he said, "Yeah, by the way, shit, I still have to record this video from like 2 years ago." And he could look at my gameplay. I was like, "Yeah, sweet. The offer is still there."
Maybe he can give you some NFT coaching in exchange for...
He gives me NFT coaching, or he gives me some party coaching. I think he's still better.
He's still the top boy for partying, from what I hear. Anyway, moving on.
Sleep at 3 a.m. How to not fall asleep.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about Pyro rankings now. Do you think you could give us a 500 Zoom Pyro rankings, or you don't really play 500 Zoom anymore?
I have no idea who's good at 500 Zoom. I couldn't tell you. If you asked me about high stakes players, I could say something, but like I don't even have the 500 lobby open, so I only look at 1K and above because I'm not playing lower, so I couldn't tell you who's in there. I only know there's no fish, but a lot of people still playing it, and I don't know why, because the rank is also quite high.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just playing for fun, or they're just playing to practice, but if you want to make money, probably 500 Zoom, especially during daytime, probably not the way to make big bucks.
No, it's not the one, is it? It's not the one. So let's talk a little bit about higher stakes rankings. Can you tell us a little bit about who's hot, who's not in the high stakes worlds? Starting out with who's not hot. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to hear about.
It's not hard.
Let's put you right under the fucking microscope.
You give me a name. Otherwise, it looks like I'm trash talking people because I don't want to trash talk anyone. You give me a name, or the chat gives me a name. I say, hold on.
Okay, chat. Get some names in the chat. Get some high stakes regs, and we can talk about if they're hot or not. From my boy JBL Star, he will give his honest opinion on some of the higher stakes regs. Let's start with Jarrettman. Have you played much with Jarrettman?
No. I haven't played much with Jarrettman. I couldn't say much about him. Loluplay, yeah, I think Loluplay is a bit clueless, from what I can tell. You know, my friend George, we had a couple of heads-up battles. Definitely like him. He's a bit more on the tighter side, but still playing very well, and he has a lot of solver knowledge, and he knows exactly what he's doing. Like he's like in a theory aspect, George is like 10 times better than me. Big Stealer, yeah, he has improved a lot as well. He made a transition from tournaments, and then he's still playing cash. And I think he got to a good level, very aggressive. His red line is going to the moon, as well as his biceps. 664, shout out to Daryl. He's at the minute a lot. I'll see him later on. Yeah, great guy, and an even greater poker player. So yeah, very much respect for his game. Marco has said also like very, very hard to play, very, very aggressive, and like extremely high win rate. So definitely hot. X-Flake is a train wreck. X-Flake is a train wreck. I'm sorry. Clunty is the prof. Yeah, he's a bit too perfect. He's trying too hard, I think, to be picture perfect.
To be the solver, to replicate
in his decision making. Yeah, it's a bit too solver based and a bit too much RNG, I think. But still, I watched a couple of his videos and I took away a lot of things. So his like theoretical knowledge is great.
Yeah.
Abrera, also a very good player. Also a guy that you probably wouldn't notice. Like I haven't tagged as a tight guy at the tables, but still like win rate through the roof and very good player. Moonistar also very tight, but like there are people playing tight still at high stakes, but they're playing tight well. If you play lower stakes and you face a tight guy, he's usually trash. He's too tight. But these guys, they understand the game, right? They know about the spots and they know what to do. So, like, Moonistar is quite tight, but he has, like, very good decision-making. Boraj, I haven't played much against him. Limitless, yeah. Can't say much. I haven't played much against him. Like, I've seen some hands. They were obviously not... They were kind of illegal sometimes, but, like, I have to give him... he's sitting there every day. I don't know, because I don't have the GG poke lobby open. He's still sitting there every day and he's battling out every day, and I really like his attitude of it, even though it's might be a bit unhealthy, but still respect to his attitude, and he's a very good advocate for poker. Like he's doing very well for the poker community for sure. Zero. He used to be good. He used to be a crusher, and then he was struggling, and he played PLO, and he's just sitting the anti-table. So like he would be playing a technical game for sure. But like he wouldn't be competitive free-handed. He's still okay, I would say, if there's a fish in the game. But like I haven't played much with him lately. White OTB, I think he has improved a lot. He has improved a lot for sure. So I give him a hot trio. So I haven't played much with the 3 Socek. Tiltman, is it Jenny Tiltman? I would say definitely not hot. The Canon CPS, yeah, he's a lucky guy. He falls into the category as well, like with Stefan. Incredibly tough to play against, like picking the spot very well, how to be aggressive, like definitely hot. Nacho, I would say not hot. Like if you look at a 3-handed game of like Stefan, Davy Jones, and him playing, there's like obviously Stefan who is saying, "Let's go. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna crush this game." And then there's Davy Jones sitting in this game, being like, "Yeah, Stefan in this game," but Nacho is playing. And then you have Nacho who's just sitting in the game and has no idea why he's playing. He's just sitting there. I think he's just sitting there out of habit. I don't think he's that good, but it's obviously all not.
Can I just pause you for 1 second? It's moments like that. This is why I start the Gazzy B podcast. This is what we're all here for. Let's keep firing shots. Keep going. Back over to you.
W. Helmets are also very aggressive to play, but I think he's struggling. But Davy Jones has improved a lot. So he has become really good, I would say. El Pincheslot also has improved a lot. He was a bit weaker like a year ago, 2 years ago, but has improved. Yuri Pelek, I haven't played against Yuri Pelek in a long time. When you say tight, what do you mean? Yeah, playing tight in spots. Probably low VPIP, low women's flop. You could also say like more losing red line, not fighting as much and checking back a bit stronger. These type of guys are not getting out of line too much, but still picking their spots for like bluffs and stuff, and know when to go for value, know when to make a fold. Thanks, 88. I was surprised to see him in all these games because I remember he wasn't able to beat 500 Zoom. But now he's playing 10k and 20k and he seems to win a lot. So he must have changed some things, but I couldn't say if he's hot or not. Bonk also has improved a lot. I give him a hot. He used to be, just a 500 Zoom. He used to be a late player. He used to play only at the casino here, right? And now he's playing online, he's playing up to the highest stakes. Like he really planned it out. I don't know how much work he has spent on like strategy and stuff. Like he's definitely like a grinder, and he achieved like good win rates. And he did he did well for himself.
Jules, sorry to interrupt, buddy. See your microphone. Can you just turn the gain down just to see if that fixes things? Yeah, just turn it down.
Is that better now?
It sounds a lot better, yeah, because you're cutting in and out a little bit, and we all want to hear all your opinions on who is hot and who's not. So I want to get this bit perfect. So I think we're good now. Please continue. Okay,
I've now put the gain on full. I think this should be better now.
Yeah, it is perfect. This is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Big blind bets. I think he was good for some time, but then he kind of lost it. I don't know. Now he's playing lower stakes, so I couldn't say he's hot at the minute. Like his CPS hot. Jazam Gale, man, yeah. We had some chats, Jazam Gale. I mean, we were in the chat and it was going underneath the bad line for sure. He was definitely doing well and he was doing good, and I really liked him like 3 years ago when he was like upcoming and playing these 5K and 10K lineups. But I think by the end he was just like being too tight and like probably over folding in a lot of spots and not bluffing enough. I don't know. He has been away. Maybe he has quit poker. I don't know. But like, yeah, when he had his time, it was definitely hot. Now by the end, I wouldn't say not so hot anymore. Gazi B 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Most elite, sexiest guy.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Nice save.
When did Davy Jones get good? I think he got good recently, like in the last year, 1.5 years before that. I think he came from Heads Up, and yeah, he definitely had some leagues, but nowadays I think he's definitely at the top tier level. X here, I think not so good. He's playing all these games, but I think he was good when he was before the Netherlands were basically banned for online poker. I think he had his time where he was quite good, but now I don't know. He seems to be also one of these guys who are playing a lot and not studying too much. So there's some questionable lines. Xin Zhao, yeah, he's in the chat as well. we had a little trash talk. Like I was playing some 1K heads up Zoom, and we played a hand, and I was berating him in chat. And I don't know. Sometimes it can get frustrating, or sometimes I lose my shit in the chat as well. And then I asked him, "What the fuck are you doing? Are you just clicking button and hoping for the best?" And then he said, "It's all good, buddy. Join the stream." And then I saw he was streaming, and we're chatting a bit and discussing a hand. And it's all good. Yeah, I think he's definitely good. Measure Dog. Not sure. I haven't played with him lately. Like he definitely had his time where he was hot. I'm not sure because he's only playing GG at the minute. I'm not sure how he's doing there. What his results are. Schil AE is the Argentinian guy. I haven't played with him, so I couldn't say. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. That was a lot of talking.
That was a lot of talking, but it was absolutely beautiful. We had Danmer. Have you played with Daniel Morales before?
I played a bit, but no idea what he's up to lately, so I couldn't give like a proper ranking or say something about him.
Fun fact about Danmer, I played football with him. He's very good. Very, very good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very good. Nice guy as well. Ishtar 11, last one.
Ishtar 11, beautiful mind.
No, total whale. Come on, you can say it. Complete fish.
Okay, he's a hot guy. He's very good looking. he's not so good at the poker.
He's also in the chat right now. He goes back. Actually, I better not out him, but he is in there.
Yeah, I'll go over afterwards. They're playing board games and having drinks. But I said, yeah, I'm here for a good cause, and I don't like board games, and I don't like Cameron, so I'm happy to be here. 2D, not so hot. No.
Not so hot. Interesting. Not so hot. Interesting stuff. That takes us to our next game where I'm going to throw out 10 names and you're going to say hot or not. How does that sound?
Sure. Gazi B hot.
Gazi B hot. Well, Gazi B was number 6, so we can just take that out. So I've got 9 names for you now. Hot or not. We're not looking for looks. We're not looking for poker skills. It's your opinion on these people as a person. Are they hot or are they not? Are you ready?
Sure.
This is quick fire. Are you ready for the pace?
I'm ready.
Okay, Daniel Negreanu.
Not.
Phil Hellmuth.
Hot.
MMA Sherdog.
Not.
Justin Bonomo.
Hot.
Linus.
Hot.
Barry.
Very hot.
Phil Galfond.
Hot. Very good guy. Very
Nino Supremo.
Not.
No, Tino's a lovely guy. What are you talking about? Last one, last but not least.
Oh, sorry, I haven't met him. Sorry.
How can you say that? Last one, Charlie Correll, hot or not?
Hot. Incredible videos. When I was coming back from the surgery and I was tired and exhausted, I was watching his videos. And it had like a relaxing vibe, and like the songs that he's playing, and obviously like he's doing some non-solver stuff, but like he's probably right in quite a lot of spots. To be fair,
you let me down. You let me down with that last one. Just gonna.
I can't really. I can't. I like people would like trash talk him, but I don't know. I haven't met him, but like from the videos, he's doing his own thing, and you can't really.
Yeah, he's living his best life. In all seriousness, Charlie Correll out there making the content. He's got his own opinions. Some people are afraid to announce those opinions. If he wants to do that, completely fine. Respect to him for being the fearless man that he is. Okay, let's talk a little bit about downswings. Have you had a... Obviously, we spoke about that time you went supernova, you didn't quite work out, you nearly went busto. What about recently? Any long break-even or losing stretches?
No, for the last 2 years, especially since Corona has started, because the games have been so good as well, right? And I have been very selective with the tables.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have any big downswings, to be honest. Before that, I had like a couple of 100k downswings, for sure, because I was playing I was sometimes rank battling 10k, I was battling 5k, I was playing these games all day. But
Swings.
I mean, obviously, looking back now, I wasn't probably good enough to play these games, but you never know when you're playing, right? That's the thing. And then probably like 4 years ago, was maybe like 4.5 years ago, I had like probably like a 6-month stretch where I had like 120 buy and downswing. And probably my honest win rate at this point was like below 1 BB because I was just like lazy, didn't study. And I thought things were just turning around. I was just unlucky, but I was never really blaming myself. But then I realized I'm the problem. I'm lazy. I'm not like doing what I have to do to be beating these games. And then I turned it around and like actually like became like religious with my studying and stuff, like putting in the time, selecting the games and stuff like that, and actually being aware of everything. Because before that I was like blaming other circumstances. I was blaming variants. I was blaming other guys. I was blaming the EV. But yeah, I realized that I was the problem. And from that point on, like really took it seriously and was like really reflective about myself.
Something you've just said there resonates with me. Our friend Ishtar11, he is a lovely guy and he's taught me a lot about this game. But sometimes he can be a little blunt with his advice. And anytime I post a swingy graph in the chats that we're in, he loves to tell me that, you know, if you've got a low win rate, then your graph's going to be swinging up and down. So shout out to Ishtar11 for reminding me of that fact at every opportunity. There was one more question I wanted to ask you about with regards to your downswings, etc. Have you ever thought about quitting? You know, 2011, you had that difficult spell. Recently, have you ever thought about getting out of the game or life after poker?
No. Like I haven't really. No, I'm not thinking about getting out of poker because I said, especially since Corona, like the games have been great. And, no, I'm not, because I'm still peaking, right? If I would be sitting here and I would be stagnating, or if my win rate was dropping, it would be probably time to do something else, because I don't want to be the guy who's like the old guy who's sitting around and wasting like time, or like wasting his life still thinking he's good. Like I'm very objective and very reflected about my situation and about like my stats, my play style, etc., how I approach the game. I'm very critical about myself, and there are no signs of like me backing off. It's still like I feel like I can get better. My win rate can get higher. I can do better against recreationals. I can do better against regulars, and as long as I have the feeling of improvement, I will continue. And for the time after poker, I don't have a clear idea. Like ideally, I have enough money to live off that. No, but there's always something you want to do, even if I had enough to live off that until the end of my days. You always want to do something, right? Or you want to do something meaningful, or you want to have an impact, or you want to make someone's lives better, or maybe do something more relaxed and not as stressful, because obviously the years have taken its toll, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Guys, just bear with me 1 second. It looks like we're having some technical issues with regards to our donation goal, because I know some of you have been donating, but it's not showing up, showing you lovely people's names. So I'm going to ask my guest another question, and then we'll talk about, whilst he's talking, I will do my best to fix this as quickly as possible. Let's talk a little bit about your routine away from the tables. Obviously, you said you meditation for 8 years. Have you got any, mental health routines, anything like that you take quite seriously away from the table?
No, like I'm trying, because I used to be the guy who was like playing late, or was like playing until like 3 a.m. or sometimes 5 a.m. But now I have like a proper schedule. So I go to bed in the evening between like 10, 11, sometimes 12. I get up between like 6 or 7. Yeah, get up between like 6 and 7 because I prioritize my sleep. I noticed that when I'm not sleeping well, first, I don't enjoy my day. And second, I can't really perform at the tables. Like when I was younger, like I didn't really care, and you have the energy and you can just like, you can get away with it. But when you're getting older, it's definitely very important to have like a very structured sleeping schedule. So I go to bed at the same time, I wake up at the same time. Obviously now I had surgery, so I prioritized like recovering from it.
Yeah.
But since yesterday, I started getting up early, got up at like 6:30 and played the first session, took a break and played the second session. Because if I sleep until 9 and then maybe I'm slacking, I take my phone, for example, and then I'll probably waste another 30 minutes, 45 minutes on my phone. And then, until I get to the computer, until I start playing, it's 11. And then it's like 2 p.m. I need to take a break. I need to eat something. And then starting a session is quite draining. So, I really prioritize getting up early, getting the first session in as early as possible, taking a break, eating something, playing another session. And then ideally, it's time to either, meet friends, relax, or like do some sports.
You know something? You're the third guest I've had on the GaziB podcast. All three guests have been much more successful than me, and all three guests have the same sort of lifestyle. They go to bed at like midnight, they wake up at 8 a.m., they treat poker like a job, and they're not like me. They're not up at 5 a.m. playing Super Mario and just watching TV and playing Grand Theft Auto and like shooting people on the PlayStation and stuff like that. I think there may be something going on here. Maybe if I went to bed at like midnight, I would be a 5K reg or something like that. Who knows?
I think the structure is because it's like basically training your mind, right? Like if I wouldn't be in control of my mind, at least partially, I know what I've been doing. Like my default would be I would be sitting at the beach and drinking a beer, right? I would be 150 kilograms. I wouldn't do any sports. That would be me. So like every day I like try to really be a lot like self-disciplined, right? Like go to bed at a certain time, get up at a certain time, do sports even if I don't enjoy it, study poker even if I don't enjoy it, like read a book even if I don't enjoy it. Like, and the more things you do on a daily basis, I would say that you don't enjoy, the more successful you will become in the end. And it's just like at the end, it's just like getting to a routine and getting to a habit, right? It takes some time, but at some point it's easier. At the beginning, it's very hard, but I think at some point it's definitely getting easier and easier.
As a man who's lost complete control of his mind over the last couple of years, that sounds like the life for me, so maybe we can make some changes. Anyway, let's talk CFP stuff. We've already spoken about your good friend, Stefan Wozniak, aka dccnesquick. Before we talk about the CFP, tell us about Stefan.
Yeah, Stefan, he is like, like over the years, we've become like extremely close friends and like kind of being like brothers. Like he's kind of like my little brother. We have been like very, very influential for each other. Like I've learned a lot of him from in terms of like pokers, in terms of business, in terms of like his mindset is just like next to nothing. He's like you say like I'm very positive, or you say I'm like full of energy, but if you meet him, if you spend time with him, this is like really swapping over. Like he always has like a good idea, he always has a good advice, and he's always full of energy, and he always sees the glass half full instead of the empty glass. So we have like a great relationship. We used to live together for the last 4 years. He sadly moved back last year September to Amsterdam. But yeah, I'll be following. I'll be moving to Amsterdam in September as well.
Nice. Will you be living with Stefan, or will you be living by yourself?
No. At this age, like he has a girlfriend. I'm 33. Like I need my own space. I need to have it. I need to have it quiet. I need to have it. It needs to be clean. And if I'm on the couch, I want to be on the couch. I don't want anybody to be walking in, and I want to have my own interior and stuff like that. Like living shared is not an option for me anymore. It's also, I think, important to make a progress in life, right?
Yeah, you want to be naked all the time. You can just say that. That's okay. You don't want Stefan walking in while you're just like naked on the sofa.
Yeah, I mean, he will probably take his pants off and sit next to him, like have a good laugh about it. He won't be the last person to judge that for sure.
We're going to talk CFP. Quick side question: Lexo Poker, hot or not? Not Lex Veldis, Lexo Poker.
Who's Lexo Poker?
He plays the big league, so you've probably never heard of him. Never mind, don't worry about it. This is a guy. No. He told me yesterday he plays 5'10". He's in the big leagues. I'm not. Yeah. Let's not worry about that. So CFP, you've been running that for about 5 years now. Is that right?
Yeah, Stefan and me were having CFP for 5 years, and it's been actually very successful. We were like a very personal CFP. We only have a few students, but we have like a very, very close relationship. And we have 2 active students at the minute, but their contracts are expiring. So we're looking for new students.
Okay.
We also extended our roster, so we took 2 of our students that had like a 2-year contract with us. We are taking them into the coaching roster. So it will be four coaches, and ideally we're looking for 4 students, and whoever is up for it, or whoever is looking for a CFP or wants to get in touch for coaching, it's just more welcome. It's like very welcome to hit us up. We have it structured in a sense that every coach has his own specialty. So there will be one guy just doing database analysis, one guy will be only doing content, the other guy will be only doing videos, and the other guy will be doing hand histories. And we're offering coaching twice a week. But everything is flexible. Like we're like easygoing. We can talk about everything. The requirement should be that you are playing something around NL 100, and that you have a bankroll, and that you're preferably young. But
no boomers or zoomers or whatever what it is that's slightly older. A quick shout out, real quick. We're going to come back and talk about the CFP side of things. Shout out to Scotty Alford, an absolute legend of live poker in London. Scotty, can you remind us of what your screen name was? Scotty Alford is someone that you 100% played full ring with back in the day. Let's see if you can remember his screen name and tell us. Scotty Alford is one of my favorite people in this game that we all love. So the CFP been running for 5 years, and I was going to ask, you've got some success stories, you've got some students who have now become coaches. That must be very rewarding to have these guys that you've helped so much that they're now coaching you sometimes, as you say.
Yeah, it's quite nice. It's like a very rewarding feeling, right? Because like if the student is overtaking the master, it's like you've done a good job, right? If the people are succeeding,
absolutely.
And so both have become so good. So on a regular, like on a daily basis, they're both called Alex. So with the Alexes, like I'm speaking to them on a daily basis, and they're basically starting to coach me, and we're doing a lot of like note logging stuff, etc. We're speaking through strategy and hand history, and I really have a good opinion. And it's really nice to bring back together like new ideas and fresh ideas, and like young smart guys, and like with some experience.
Yeah.
And I think you can take it to the next level from this point. And this is a very rewarding part because I used to do a lot of hourly coaching as well, but I didn't find it. I didn't like it too much. It wasn't really rewarding, right? It feels a bit like you're an escort, right? Like people come to you, they pay their money, they have their fun, you do your thing, they leave, you have the money. But that was the first time I felt like money doesn't really bring happiness. So I really like the connection, and I really like it when the group is small and you get to know the person. And then we're also doing trips together. Back in November last year, we all went to Amsterdam and like met up and stuff like that. So it's good fun, and like you're doing something, because like poker itself, it's basically like a meaningless pursuit, right? It's a card game.
Yeah.
And then it has no deeper meaning. But if you can actually help some people, like making their real and seeing them succeeding and seeing them really getting better and even better than you, it's like really, really fulfilling. So that's what I
really fulfilling until they stack you, I'm sure. So what I've done is I've put a link. I've put Julian's Discord in the chat. You're taking on new students, right? People are able to get in touch with you if they want to sign up.
Yeah, we're looking for new students. Ideally, like a nice group, like four students, something like that. That's fine. If you are from America, we're happy to provide you with coaching as well. Just hit me up, and feel free to send me a message, and we can speak about everything. I said we're like flexible in the approach. Like ideally, you should be winning at 50 and 100, and you should be aspiring to play 1K and 2K at some point. And we can definitely help you, and we can like create a win-win situation.
If you do add our friend here, Julian, on Discord, please do quote GazzyB123 so I get my 1%. That would be absolutely fantastic. In all seriousness, though, just kidding, of course. You've spoken about your approach to CFP. I've worked for a couple of different CFPs in the past, and whilst they're all very successful companies, I feel like that personal approach works a lot better as opposed to like one big company. It's kind of robotic and faceless, and there's no personal connection. Are you of a similar opinion with that regards?
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing it if it was for like 20 people, because it's just less personal, and it's like just like nice to have a connection to the people, and like also not only listen to their poker stories, also listening to their life stories, because it's in the end, it's also, if you have like a 2-year contract, it's more like a mentorship, right? It's not only about poker. It's about it's about nutrition as well. It's about investing as well. It's about sleeping. It's about dating or whatever. It's about anything, right? You can. I've failed everywhere, and I've at some point succeeded everywhere. So I had my fair share, and like saving some time is like probably like the highest or like the best thing you can achieve.
Yeah.
Especially that's what I notice when I'm getting older, right? Like saving time in a smart way is probably the best thing you can do. It's the best trade-off you can have, and I guess like a mentorship or like a CFP, ideally should give this to you, and I think it's a good thing about it.
A really good way to look at it. Let's step a little bit away from the felt now. We've listened to that beautiful accent of yours all night. You're from Germany, right?
I'm originally from Germany, but yeah, I'm so far out. Like I'm out for like I haven't been living in Germany for like 7 years, so I couldn't tell. I don't feel too German anymore. I don't feel too patriotic or whatever you want to call it. So
no, your country is doing very well in leading the fight against the Russian army right now. So I'd be very patriotic for you right now.
They're supporting the Ukraine, which is fair enough.
Yeah,
it's
which
a good
is
thing to do.
Fantastic. Of course, a couple of people asking in the chat how they can get in touch with Julian and Stefan, who are of course running their CFP. I have re-added the Discord info into the chat. If you guys are interested, please do get in touch with Julian via Discord. So how long have you been out of Germany for now?
7 years. 7 years. I moved here 2015.
Been in London this whole time?
No, I've been in Australia, New Zealand, and Bali for a bit as well. So
very nice.
we had our big grinding house. It was Frank, Stevie, Donald, Marcel, Kreuznagel. I don't know. I hope he's watching. If he's watching, shout out to Marcel. Text me back at WhatsApp at some point. And yeah, we were like 5 guys, and one of Stevie's best friends. He wasn't a poker player. He was like an accountant, right?
Okay.
And it was like a funny dynamic between us. And yeah, after we quit this house, we went to Australia. So Aussie millions, and then we traveled a bit through New Zealand. It was like 464, Daryl, Frank, Marcel, Kreuznagel, and me. And after that, I was in Germany for a bit because I had a liaison. I had a girlfriend for a short time, but it didn't last for too long, so I came back after like half a year or something to London. So it's like 6.5, almost like 7 years.
Women. Who needs them? Who needs them, my friends? Who needs them?
We can't live with them, but you can't live
with them, right? Feels like we're in the pub right now. This is brilliant.
Imagine you could figure out women, then it would be boring, right? You can figure out a poker game, but you can't figure out a woman.
Can't live with them. Can't live without them. As Warren would say in the poker game of life. Please finish the quote. I assume you know the quote. Have you ever seen Rounders?
No, I don't watch any movies. What's the quote?
All right, guys. The podcast is ending right now. You've never seen Rounders?
I have to give it a no.
Matt Damon, Ed Norton.
I know. It's the poker. Yeah. No.
Bro, okay. What you got to do is you got to watch Rounders, okay? When you're not going out to play Monopoly with Ishtar tonight, you're going to stay home, you're going to watch Rounders, and you're going to apologize to me in the morning.
I don't know watching a movie or spending time with Cameron and the board game. So
okay, chat, help me out here. If you've seen Rounders, type the number 1 in the chat. If you've never seen it, type the number 2 in the chat. Shelley's Ashes, thank you, John Margaret. So if you've seen Rounders, number 1. If you've never seen Rounders, type the number 2 in the chat, and feel free to fucking sort yourselves out and watch Rounders. It is poker gold.
You see, people haven't seen it. People haven't seen it.
They're lying to make my guest feel more comfortable. I think that's what's happening.
50-50. Okay, now.
Nah. Okay. Golden Boy 7, disappointed in you. Right, let's talk a little bit about the... I don't know if we're allowed to say this in this day and age, but the gay UK crew. Are we allowed to still say gay UK crew?
I'm not sure if it's politically correct. Like back in the days, you could have said it. Nowadays, it's a bit like people could be offended. So
list some of the founding members of the gay UK crew.
It was Benjamin Raven for sure, Stevie Bentic for sure, Simon Cooling, aka Coinflip Psy.
Coinflip Psy, Benababi, SMB.
SMB, and I guess Frank, Mayo the Don.
Don.
And then added was Donald for sure, D7.
D7, absolute legend.
And then I somehow made my way in there. I guess we're living together.
Yeah.
And I don't know who else. Who was part of the
Who else was part of the gay UK crew? There were outsiders like myself who always wanted to be part of the gay UK crew, but we knew we would never.
UK crew and friends. There was Riaki, Todd Fullerton. He was one of the first guys to live with all the boys together, for sure.
For those that don't know, the gay UK crew was all the guys that lived in London and like from Germany and Austria and Netherlands and Scotland, and they just had one beautiful grindhouse, and they all became very successful. Good times, right?
Good times, very good times.
Good
Fond
times.
memories, how we say here.
So what happened? Everyone just branched out. Everyone's like, Stevie is he still in Thailand?
Yeah, Stevie's in Thailand. He's retired from poker. Donald is living half of the year in Edinburgh, half of the year in Mexico. He's married as well. Stevie is engaged. Ben is still living in London. I see him.
He's moving to Australia very soon. Shout out to
He's moving
Ben
to
and Bobby.
Australia. Yeah, Frank is living in Vienna, so it all branched out. Like Todd quit poker. Coinflip Simon, he restarted playing poker, but he moved to Devon with his fiance. All having children and getting married.
Shout out to Coinflip Sai, one of the founding members. Absolute hero, yeah. There was something I was going to ask you there. Any plans for a gay UK reunion? You think all the guys will get together one time?
Yes, we will actually. Donald is marrying in August in Edinburgh, and I think he has invited us, or like a good chunk of us. So I think that in summer at the wedding, it will be nice. It will be really nice. Everybody dressed up, everybody getting completely smashed. I will also drink more than one beer for sure.
It sounds beautiful. Sounds beautiful.
Sounds beautiful, yeah. It's probably lovely, even in Scotland when it's summertime.
I can tell you a very fun story about our very own Donald Ray, aka D7. So the year, I think it was 2016, and I was a professional poker player, but I was a fish. I was like a really, really bad professional poker player, and I was going to Vegas for the summer, and Donald very kindly agreed to stake me. And I was losing. I was like 10k in the hole. I was running bad, but looking back, I was obviously playing bad as well. And Donald was my backer, and he was back in the UK, and he said that he would let me play one tournament. There was a $600 tournament at the Win, and I sent him a message like, okay, just starting day 2. And he was just like going to bed back in the UK, and I was like, okay, speak to you later, etc. And then like I made the final table, and I made the final 3 players, and they're like 70k up top. And Donald was just like waking up, and I was like, I'm 3rd place, 35k and stuff like that. And he must have been so fucking relieved that I like got out the hole and won some money in this tournament, because it was just a disaster. I was such a bad poker player back then that I was like, couldn't beat 2-5 in Vegas, and won this big tournament, and Donald was able to get out the hole and get his little percentage of profit. Good times. Good times. Saved his bacon. Let's see what else we can talk about before we finish. So we spoke a little bit about crypto stuff. Are you a Bitcoin kind of guy? You've got some altcoins on the go. Talk to me.
I learned my lesson from altcoins. So yeah, I bought actually a lot of Bitcoin when it was at 5k. And then it was because I bought it. I had no clue of it. Still don't have too much of a clue, but I know that I'm just going to hold it. But there was altcoin season, right? And then these big swings with altcoins, and I saw Stefan's portfolio going through the roof, whereas my Bitcoin was just like stagnating. So I was like, now it's the best time to buy altcoins, right? And then I took half of my Bitcoin and I bought altcoins, and then a couple of weeks later down the line, the altcoins were worth 0. So I learned my lesson the hard way. So no, I'm only holding Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that's it. And like eventually, like the end game is just having Bitcoin, and that's it.
The end game must be having millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and not having to grind anymore.
Exactly. Sit at the beach and finally like let my mind go free and just sit at the beach and drink beers.
Okay, I will meet you there, my friends, in the Dominican Republic somewhere. We're going to come to the end of our podcast very soon, guys. Get your questions in for our guest today, who's been absolutely fantastic. There was one question I wanted to ask you, which has escaped from my mind. Yes.
By the way, the counter doesn't work, right, for the donations. Do you see how much it is?
Unfortunately, I cannot see. However, I will report back as soon as possible. Some slight technical issues with regards to the donation box. I know you guys have been donating. Thank you very much to those that have chosen to donate. Just a very quick reminder: if you guys do donate, our guest today, Stefan, our guest today, Julian, has very kindly offered to top us up to $1,000. If we do break the $1,000 tally, Julian has very kindly offered to top us up to $2,000. So if you do wish to donate to the Red Cross in Ukraine, it would be very much appreciated. The question I was going to ask you, Vegas, WSOP 2022, are you going?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not!
I used to live in the US for like half a year because I had a semester abroad for my studies there. So I used to live in San Diego for like half a year.
Mm-hmm.
And out of these 6 months, I stayed in Vegas for like 30 days. And like obviously I was like 24, 25. But I didn't play a single hand of poker. I was only going to pool parties and going to nightclubs and stuff. So I had my fair share of Vegas. And now obviously after Corona, after lockdowns, etc., I still like obviously have like good memories, right? And you think about like going back, probably not to play tournaments. If I go back, it would be just for like a fun trip and maybe travel a bit in the US. But I don't think it's gonna happen. Like my schedule for the summer, my calendar is full of stag dues, weddings, etc.
Yeah.
So I won't be going to Vegas this year for sure. Also, like no intention of playing any live poker. Like I like what I'm doing. And I'm doing okay what I'm doing, so there's no aspirations of. I played the main event once, and it was a frustrating bust out by the end of day 3.
Oh, brutal! Right at the end of the day, did you make the cash?
No. It was like 2 days. I think day 3 we started cashing at some. Or it was like end of day 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I jammed my last 18 blinds from the button with King Queen offsuit, and there was a guy sitting next to me. He was the only pro apparently, but he was already at Corona number 10, and it was like this. The penultimate hand of the day, so the second last hand of the day, I went all in, and he sits in the small blind with King Jack, and he's like sipping on his Corona, and he's like, you know what? I feel like gambling. And he told me he had King Jack, I had King Queen, and he hit a Jack, and that was my dream. And I was like, no, thanks. And
tell us more bad beat stories. We're all here to hear your bad beat stories. Go on, tell us some more.
Bad beat. There are no big bad beat stories.
I'm just kidding. There was one more question. So you don't have like the urge to play the main event, or you no interest in going to Vegas just to play the main event, nothing like that?
No live poker. They were all like I thought about maybe going to Macau and stuff, but
yeah.
I think the games have dried up, and it's not like that you come from online. I'm like specialized in a certain thing, right? I'm specialized in 100 BB, and I think it's like a big mistake to think you just go to Macau, you're like good at online or whatever, and then you sit there and you play like 600 big blinds deep against some guys at a full ring table, and you have no idea what's going on. You're playing like huge stakes, like you're playing, and it's so much money, and it's a completely different environment. And like I don't enjoy too much. You have to play like 30-hour sessions from what I've heard. Like you have to play 16 hours in a rec game before you get put into the VIP game and stuff like that. It's not for me. Sure, I could make money there if I really would be going for this, if I would go there for a year or whatever. But I think given that there's no social life, I wouldn't be happy, and I'd rather have less money and have like a good life and be happy than having more money.
What about this? This is a different kind of live poker. What about me, you, Smith, the Hippodrome, 1-2, some beers, some vodka oranges, some shots of tequila? How does that sound? That must sound very appealing to you.
It sounds like one of my wet dreams. we should do it.
Seriously, we should do that. Yeah, Ben and Bad Beat comes sometimes as well, and even Ishtar was playing the other day. It was a lot of fun,
Yeah, we should do it just for fun. Go
just
there.
For fun. Make some content. For the boys.
Yeah, just try to lose. Like, don't try to win. Just try to lose and get. Can you drink that for free? No, right? It's not like Vegas.
No, but I'm sure you can afford to buy a few beers.
Probably.
Okay, last question I've got from the chat. Chat, if you have anything else to ask my wonderful guest for this evening, please do get your questions in now. What does a good study routine look like?
What's a good? Yeah, I think we've touched the topic already.
Yeah.
I think first probably like seeing a lot of sims, like trying to get the foundation, like trying to get the basics right, trying to understand the solver, trying to figure out the ifs and whys, and then afterwards definitely go into some spots and really go deep and see where bluffs are coming from, and then think about like if population is really finding enough bluffs to make a certain call, like a break-even call, stuff like that. Get a study partner, get someone again who's on the same path, get somebody who's playing the same level, or maybe playing a level lower, level higher. Just be religious about it. Like be like continuously working on it will make the difference. It's not like being hyped about it, doing it for 2 weeks, doing it for 3 weeks, and then just letting it go. It's about like doing this for years and years and years, and like continue to do it. And this is what makes a success, even if it's slow, but it will be successful in the end.
I think that's the same with anything, poker related or non-poker related. You've got to put the time in. It's not an instant.
Exactly. It's not happening overnight, right? It's not happening overnight, and it can be frustrating. It can be slow, and you will have setbacks, and you will be disappointed. You will be frustrated. But if you really believe in it, if you really enjoy what you're doing, and if you have a goal, and if you want to achieve something, then you just have to go for it, right?
Consistency is key. Wise words, I should say, from our guest from this evening. I think that about wraps us up for this evening. Have you enjoyed the podcasts?
I had a very good time. I'm feeling the beer right now, so it's probably a good time to cut it off. If I drink 1 or 2 more, I might say things that I will regret later on. So,
well, maybe next time we have you on in a couple of years' time, we can get a couple more beers in you, and we can fire some true shots and hear what you really think about 2T88 and Co.
But you will see Beach Bar and in the background. I won't be sitting in an apartment by then.
Beautiful. Well, thank you very much to Julian for joining. One last question for you, real quick. What do you think if someone is already in their 30s, should they still go for it? Do you think the dream's still alive? I think so, but you go ahead.
It depends, right? If you're already playing for like 5 years and it's not going your way, there are probably reasons why you haven't made it so far. If you try to switch to poker as like a newbie and you want to do it, sure, why not? I mean, there are other sectors these days that are probably more profitable, or like people these days, they're all becoming YouTubers, Twitch streamers, Instagrammers, influencers, crypto traders, you name it. But if you're new to it and if you're up for it, definitely do it. Like for me, it was probably easier back in the days because I had nothing to lose, right? I was like 18, 19 years old, and if I would have failed, it would have just cost me 1 year of my life or something like that. Now, if you start when you're 30, losing like 1 or 2 years of your life, it's probably, it's not as easy anymore, I would say.
This is very true. Supergramster says no, fuck that social media stuff. How about 2 years playing recreationally if you're already in your 30s? Do you think you could make that transition?
It's probably saying no, but...
Crushing dreams. Julian crushing dreams on the Gazzy. That poor guy. Okay, well, thank you very much to everyone that joined. Thank you very much to Julian. You've been a wonderful guest. And for anyone just tuning in, we'll be uploading this to YouTube. Also, please accept my apologies. Had some slight technical issues with regards to the donation button, but I will tally up all the results. And Julian, as we mentioned, very kindly agreeing to top us up to $1,000.
Yeah, I'll top it up, and probably you also let us know who was the highest donor, and so Absolutely. I can get in touch with the person, or the person was the highest donor. Get in touch with me, or like you will send us over, and then
Absolutely. For those that didn't hear earlier, anyone who gives us the highest donation will win an hour of free coaching with Julian. I will leave the donation. I'm heading out this evening, but I'll leave the donation button open. You guys feel free to donate if you wish, and the highest donor will receive an hour of free coaching. But that's us for the evening. Thank you very much, Julian. Did you enjoy yourself?
Perfect. Very good time. Always with you, Gazzy. Always.
Beautiful. And I'll see you